Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have another diagnostic video, hopefully a good one. This is a 2011 Mercedes R-Class. This is a car from one of my subscribers. He lives in New York and he's been having problems with his car. So he drove all the way up from New York down to here, Virginia, for me to look out of the car. So I just start the car. I have the scanner connected. I'm going to use the original scanner for this car for this video. I can feel like what he describes as well as a hiccup. It's like the engine is running and then like cuts. So I want to see. I'm not familiar with the car. This is the first time I'm working on it. So I'm going to read codes, see what I found. I know that he has done a lot of stuff like swapping injectors. I think he even told me that he swapped the computer on this one and the fault transferred to this computer as well. So it's definitely not the computer, or at least that's based on what he's saying, it sounds like it. But let's let me get you guys closer here, and then we go over Sentry. Sorry for the shaking. Let me make sure you guys are well on the screen, because I was going to put a screen recorder, but for some reason I couldn't, not on this computer. I guess it's locked to not let anyone download things to record. All right, so let's see. I need the whole bean, which I already put on my information. Make sure it's fine, and I'm going to copy because sometimes I do this. Hopefully I'm not in the way. All right. All right. So it is an R series, so model series. The engine is a 642 and the transmission is a 722902 for those who wants to know. And now we're going to select the diagnosis. I would like to do a full scan, especially on a vehicle that I have never worked before. All right, it took me a little bit to fix it. It was just about reboot the computer, normal Windows stuff. I don't like the sound of the engine. I have a very noticeable knocking, which can be injectors, can be timing. The engine at least is running better as far as the cutting on, let's say, one cylinder. So we're gonna do a quick test. Yeah, most of the problems sometimes are just resolved as far as this about rebooting your computer. Same thing with your scanner. Sometimes it's just not communication, no communication. Just reboot the stuff. Yeah, it looks like they have been all erased, which is weird. He drove the car from New York to here. We'll see what we find, what we can see here. So these are, okay, yeah, we have something on the common rail. Let's see what we got there. Let's check the fault codes. Cylinder 1 fuel injector has an open circuit. Fuel injector cylinder 4 has an open circuit. They're both a store. plausibility error due to defective exhaust gas pressure lines between diesel particle filter and differential pressure sensor. Okay, that is a problem, and it's current in a store. Plausibility due to defective exhaust gas pressure lines. So you're gonna have to check that pressure sensors on the particle filters, because it has one on the front and one on the back. Definitely the knocking that I feel sounds like an injector issue. I'm not sure how much my microphone will allow to hear. Let's see what else we can see here. Again, I'm just trying to get myself familiar with the car. Engine is running. 300 bars at idle. Let me see, what is that pressure? We're so familiar of PSI and US. 1 second, I'm in the other computer looking for that. I want to make sure that we are, in between the specs. So it's around 300 bar, right? So we got around 4,400 pounds of pressure, which is okay. Yeah, nothing since out of the ordinary here. I have to go out and reconnect with the scanner. So let me go back. I'm just, reading the codes and again. So let me, oh, actually, I went ahead. So let's go back. So all I do with Sentry is click on the zoom glass in here, which is actually a search. And that can help me determine, process of diagnosis. But not only for that is I use it because it gives me, a nice description and photos of where the sensor is located and stuff like that, right? So yeah, definitely not much of a test in here. So I actually visually have to go remove covers. And obviously on this car with this call space and stuff on the front, I'm gonna have to do some removing, which is, part of what we're doing. I want to see how the air filters look. Let me go back to the injectors fault, because they both show us as an open circuit. Yeah, most likely it's gonna just check. Yeah, check internal resistance of the injector. So not much help either in there. I also saved the file, which I like to always do. So I have it here because it gives me also the freeze frame. I can select, to save the freeze frame. As far as the distance, what I'm going to read in when fall first occur. The car has 169,000 miles, so this is something that's not right. Probably is reading the mileage on that computer. It's hard to say because he said that he changed the computer. So I'm not sure what will say 72,000 kilometers when it has 169,000 miles. I think it's miles, so let me make sure it's not a Canada vehicle. It's coming from, make sure my multiplexer doesn't fall. All right, you guys, I'm sorry. I just need to. Yeah, no, I don't see that. And it says miles, so yep. It is miles. And I just beat that, so be right back, guys. All right, sorry guys, I'm going all over, but I'm trying to get familiar with the car. Right now, I'm in the diesel particle filter. Look at right here on the left upper corner. Seeing, what we see on idle, these sets are all done on idle. And I always recommend to, just not jump the gun and to start doing something in a car that you not even know, right? So this is part of a diagnosis. Some people think it's like, oh, but what are you talking about? Diagnosis? What is taking so long? Oh yeah, if it's that easy, be my guest and fix it. No, it is not easy. But yeah, so the pressure differential sensor right now is reading 10.9 pascals, which is not bad. The total distance of the ass correction, a successful one, was in 273,000 miles, which that's around what this car has mileage wise. So that's fine. The speedometer reading, you see, that's kind of weird. Hmm. But again, I don't see anything wrong in here, and I like to record this myself. So for the video and everything, I can always go back and check. Let's see the EGR, coolant temperature above, engine and idle. Gotta do a little bit of a snap throttle for this test. So let me just do it one time. And this one you don't have to do a heavy acceleration just to see if the EGR opens and closes. Otherwise it will flag red in here, and it didn't. Now that was just the information on there, which is also, as you can see, we have some hyperlinks in here. You can just click in there and it'll tell you the actual value is a value calculated by the performance map and subject to constant change due to variation of a blah 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 blah. So nothing too helpful in there. The only thing I can see is the boost pressure, intake pressure, all seems to be normal. Sorry for the introduction. I mean the interruption. That was actually the owner of the car coming from New York. Just he just want to make sure if I got the key and everything. Yeah, obviously we're working on it. All right, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, this is the stuff that I cannot do. Not the way the car is. So I think that I have enough pressure. I mean enough information. I want to now start removing covers and doing some tests on the engine. So let me stop the video. I'll be doing that, guys. All right, guys, I disconnect the scanner. No longer needed for what I'm doing. I'm going to visual inspect the engine. I already removed uh, the cover in here is just hold by 213 on each side. It slides out and you remove the cover. It's not really so bad, but it is. It is. One thing that I noticed immediately is oil here. This is very common, but look at this. This is completely off. So hopefully you guys can see why I'm shaking in there. And this is a metered air. So I'm going to remove this, remove the air filter, see how that looks, and I start from there. I wanted to get to the differential pressure sensor, which is right there. So let me put you on the arm and you see me work. Okay, I think guys, you have enough height in there, so I'm not going to be much on the way. All right, so first thing first, I need to remove this center pipe. And one big concern that I have right now with the way this is, this system, since it's a diesel, The adjustment of the EGR is based on what the MAF sensors are reporting as well. If we have a meter error, that is changing our injection and EGR adjustment based on a false reading. So I need to start with this. Might be the correction, might not be the correction, but I have to fix that, right? So let me just double check, make sure the ignition is not on. And it's not, I want to take the key off. Put the key on the side. And this map sensor, they just, it's the clips you need to push and then pull. I usually, what I do is push the clip, actually push it in and then pull. That has worked all the time to release these ones. If you try to fight it out first, it's gonna be a lot harder. You need to like push it into for the clips to release. Most of the time they work and they work perfectly. All right, so now we have the connection of the turbo, and this wire usually breaks. I mean, it's always oil here, especially if you haven't done an induction service, which most people don't do because it's quite expensive, and I get that. All right, let's see. Well, we have big leak. And yeah, this is broken, so not sure how much. Let me clean it. We'll be able to pick it up by the camera. Make sure I am in the, but hopefully you guys can see right here, this is completely cracked. So again, we have another ammeter air situation. So I'm gonna have to get this elbow. And I mean, those are the things that I haven't quoted this because I don't know the engine, right? I don't know the car, never worked on it. And this is the crankcase ventilation system. So super important as well. That rubber is just so destroyed by the oil. These rubbers are usually easy to get, and I think I quote him because he asked me to give him a rough estimate of what would be to replace, or sorry, to replace a oil cooler gasket, clean the intake, change the swerve valves, clips, and unstuck everything from carbon, right? Which is, if you have seen all my other videos, you know what I'm talking about because these engines are really prone to, as a GDI engine, this is, direct injection diesel. So it's common rail, but it's the same thing. We got a lot of oil here. One thing that I like to see is, or feel, is to play on the turbo, which feels not bad. So not so bad that way. We have just a meter air on both of those connections. Now we need to remove this air filter to see what we see on this side. It should be, I think it's E6 or E8. Might be an E10. Yeah, it's an E10. To gain access to that, you need to remove the bolt. I had the trays in there. And to get this one, I usually just remove the oil cap, take this rubber, which is just an oil cache. Trying to not get too much in your way. So yeah, these are E10s. Wrong tray. And all you gotta do is just pull. This is it has just two rubber grommets at the bottom. Gotta be careful here. I gotta hook this. Oh, here and here is the best. I need to get the bracket off my way. Just trying to work as easy as possible, gaining access to what I need. I should do it. Hopefully. Yeah. Let's open this up. I'm gonna do this live with you guys. Sorry if I'm a little bit on the way again. You see that there? Trying to make sure that we're all looking at what I'm doing. Oop, wrong one. Sorry, I'm in the way. It's a T25. Oh my God, yeah. So, yeah, I think we have serious problems in here as well, right? Poor car. So, I mean, he was trying to tell me we this, all this and that. I'm like, yes. It's like, please just don't tell me too much. Let me just do my own diagnosis. Let me start with this, and because if I start basing my assumptions on what he wants to tell me, it's going to skew my thinking. So definitely we need to correct all this. I am again, it's like very hard to just condemn the induction or the intake for the miss that he has, but I mean, we have a MAF sensor that is not reading correctly. It's a key component. Now that I replace those air filters, now that I seal this up, I have to do a relearn adaptation on those maps, on the two maps. This is super important on these Bluetec engines, and you need to do it. I'm sorry, but only the OEM scanner does it. I have Autologic, and I will try to do it with Autologic to see if it does it. I haven't been able to do it with any other one, including the hotel. So yeah, we have issues here, really, really big issues. So let's get now to the EGR, I mean to the DPF valve, which is inside. So let me get you guys closer. Thanks to my mother-in-law for giving me this arm. It's a boom that I put the camera in there. It's just perfect. Wonder if I can remove. Nah, I don't want to because very flimsy. I don't want to break it. So the connections in here, as far as the sensor itself, they look good. I don't see any broken hoses. Let me get a mirror to look from behind. But then now I have to lift the car and see how that looks from underneath. And always inspect the hoses from the back. Don't just think they look good from the front and everything is correct. But no, everything looks really good here. So I'm going to raise the car up and inspect that from underneath. So let me turn the camera off 1 second, guys. All right, what I want to do next is obviously remove the the odor air filter. I want to gain access to the EGR, see if I can see anything in there as far as the pipe on the back and everything, which is another common failure on these systems. Okay, this connector is broken and it was barely in, and this is a air temperature sensor, again another really important sensor. I understand if it's broken, you know, it happens. I mean, it's not a new car, but at least put, a tie or something so it doesn't come off, because it's another really important. Injection is going to be also based on the ambient and air temperature or intake temperature sensor. Very important. All right, so that was almost out. Not another good sign. Another thing that I wanted to show you too is it's probably low around a quart. Diesel oil is hard to condemn because it always gets really dark really soon. But I think it's past due for like 2,000 miles. Let me just double check. So it's 169,424, and the sticker that I can see here, it shows I'm 168.75. So it's like 1,400 miles past due. Not a good thing to have on a diesel engine either. These cars are really good, but you need to keep oil clean at the right level. Uh, Super important things to do. Always remove those little bolts from there so they don't fall. I'm gonna get this hose out of the way. I'm just piling stuff in there for now. Most likely put everything on the back of the car. And this, again, is just pull. This one is a little tight, or tighter to get off. And I'm going to, since I see all this stuff, I'm going to check all those connectors for the return lines on the injectors and the connections on the injectors as well. And this is the things that, you know, on a car that you haven't worked, I mean, it's going to take a little longer. First to get familiar and then to give a right diagnosis, right? Why are you grabbing? It's going to be a little hard to get off. And then back was grabbing me. It's like a puzzle. That is holding me. Nothing. All right, guys, let's do the same thing. Remove that filter in front of the camera. Would you guys see what we find? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to look the same. T25. And you want to wear gloves when you're working on these cars, otherwise your hands are going to get a stain from the diesel oil. This side doesn't look that bad. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah. All right, guys, look at this. I would say it's probably 120% clogged. Poor car. How is it even running? How is even able to breathe? And he drove all the way from New York to here. And I don't get, you know, who's been working on this car and they haven't even done anything like this. Wow. So I'm just going to keep this on the side. But yeah, we need to correct all those situations before I can do anything else. Because, you know, how can I believe on a math reading with anything like this? No, it's impossible. I'm sorry, guys. I got interrupted by another call, and I had to keep it on because it's business hours. All right, so we have both problems on the filters. I don't see any like loose connections on the injectors, which is okay. As far as fire in order, all right, so as far as fire in order, these are cylinders 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. Based on the codes that we saw, we have problems with injectors 1 and 4. I can check, which is pretty simple and easy to do, which is also what, you know, manufacturers recommend. is to check, the actual ohms on the injectors. If I can get this out of the way. Ooh, that has oil in there. Is that oil or diesel? So we have wet, which is no good. That seems to be diesel. Let me see if I'm getting the same thing on the other one, because that is also part of our problem. I mean, if we have an injector leak through the connector, sorry guys, I cannot see. Sorry if I'm in the way. No, this one seems dry, but this one is really wet. Like, I mean, like half of the connector is in fluid. I'm not going to be able to see it here. Is that oil or diesel? Hard to say. For the viscosity, like I said, it's like I'm not getting anything on the, like not like oil. So let me unplug this one. Yeah, that injector is wet as well. We have problems in here too. So this is getting deeper and deeper. Am I recording? Yes. We got fluid on the connector that is going to create a short, which you know how the manufacturer's codes go: open, short, same thing. Don't go by what it says on the description of the code, because sometimes it says an open. You're going to be looking for an open wire, and you're going to end up chasing your tail because it's not the issue. So this one, it has 186, 185. Not sure if you guys can see that. Let me focus the camera there. I will be doing injector number 1 connector. And of course it's going to change a little bit because of the temperature, but we can say 185. Let me do the other one. It's a little hard to do. Many things on the way, including the connector itself. So give me 1 second. Got a little bit of a running nose. I'm not sure if I'm making contact. Now I am. Almost the same on those two. Let's see what injector 4 shows. I am now in there. So we can see 185 is a normal resistant warm. The engine is very warm now, so I'm going to let it cool down, and we're going to double check that reading with the engine cold. But I don't like that fluid in there. Why is fluid in there? I don't know yet, but we will figure that out.